This is CJ, Brady, and Brice Outdoors, and this is you can check us out on cjbradyandbrice.com. Check out our YouTube vids, and we're gonna be telling you some good deer stories. We're gonna let CJ tell you something first. Here we go, CJ.
All right, so I was, up in my tree stand. I was just waiting. My bow's hanging on its tree right here. Quiver's over here, arrow knocked and everything. Got my release on, but that's not right here right now. So I'm sitting here, and I hear something. I don't know if it's a squirrel or a buck or a doe. So I slowly make my way over to the tree. So work my hand into that thing. I'm sitting here, got my release on and everything.
Whoa, you don't scare me.
And then I see him. This big bodied 4-pointer. This is no joke, gentlemen. I'm sorry I laughed, it's the dumbest deer I've ever seen. He's about 80 yards, so I draw back. I'm waiting, I'm sitting here, I'm waiting. Draw back, I'm waiting. Sitting here waiting, I'm waiting. Finally gets into about 40 yards. Put my third pin on him. Thunk, rage cage right in the blade cage. Smoked him.
Woo, buddy.
He went about maybe 100 yards and dropped in some pines. That's my deer story. Up for B Daddy Dog.
Alright, boys. This is my deer story about my 16-point buck I killed. It was a Thursday, 6 in the morning, and I'm up in my tree stand, and here he comes. He's trucking in here. I hear some reeds waddling, all these noises. So I draw back. He starts to walk in, so I pull back in, and then he comes right between these two trees, and then BAM! Quick scope. Lightning. BAM!
It was lights out, boys.
That was it. Deer dropped to the ground.
There was no running. There was
16-point buck. And,
down.
That's a true story. I'll show you it on my next video. It's in the process right now of getting mounted. Beautiful deer.
No lie, folks. No blood trail, baby.
Right,
that's how we do it with the Rage 2-blade in the cage.
And now we're going to have Brady show us a vid.
Now I'm going to tell you guys about this story I got. Alright, boys. It was back in October of 2010. It was an early October morning. The wind was blowing about 5 miles an hour. I was up in the tree stand, just waiting, all my scents on, my bow hanged up on my tree to the left, my quiver to the right, and I'm just sitting there thinking, what in the world am I gonna do if something walks out? Because you always get buck fever with the bow, at least I do. And all of a sudden, a couple of does walk out. Early rut too, the bucks are moving. I know they're coming out soon, but I figure there's a couple does the bucks gotta be chasing sometime soon. So I give it a chance, wait about half hour or so. The does walk into about 45 yards or so. And from the left I see a couple horns over in the distance, and buddy, does my heart start racing. And all of a sudden walks out this Fred Bear, big old whitetail, 8-point, wide rack, 20-inch tines, people. These things were at least 20 inches. I mean, the rack was at least a 30-inch spread.
What point was it?
He's a big 8-point, I already told you. And he walks out, and oh my gosh, my heart starts pounding out of my chest. I can't even explain it to you. And then all of a sudden, he sees the doe, so I give it the snort wheeze. Oh, buddy, he liked that one, dude. He heard that grunt, and I gave him a grunt right after that, like burp, burp, burp. he came running in, and people, I'm telling you, it wasn't even a jog, sprint, speed walk. This was a dead run. He get right up on that doe, and I ain't never seen it before, but buddy, he pounded her till her lights are out. She was limping when he was done with her, and buddy, it was a beautiful experience. And I'm like, oh my, I gotta get this bad boy. So I pull out the old bear charge off the tree. My arrow's already knocked, and I had to give him one more grunt, and that's all it took. And all of a sudden, he was scattered right to me. Got to about 30 yards, but he wasn't broadside, so I had to wait a minute before he turned. And sure enough, he turned at about 25. I drawed back, and it was lights out for this 8-point buck. Oh man, and when I had to make him stop though, because you know how they're still moving, and you just got to give him a little something when you're drawing back. So he got there about 25, turned broadside. My heart's pounding out of my chest, boys. I ain't even looking at those. It's all 8-point. Big buck down.
I forgot to tell you one thing, guys. When I went over to my 16-point, he was still alive. So I performed an attack every night. I stabbed him in the heart. And that was the end of him. Thank you.
And as soon as the 8-point turns sideways, he's still a little short jog, and I just give him the meh. Works every time. He gives me the short, stoppy look. And the old bear charge gets drawn back. That didn't happen, but we'll just leave the bear charge down, and he just stopped right there. I just got it right on his vitals. Second pin on the pin dropper, and I just let the arrow fly. Plack! Boom! Right there, double lung. The deer went down 25 yards later.
Great story. Great story. And that's it here for the day, boys.
That was a great story. That's the best one I've heard in a
Thank you for
while.
watching the 3 Deer Stories Outdoors. This is Brice, CJ, and Brady Outdoors. Check our YouTube videos out. Come to bricecjbrady.com and you can check us out.